Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. So today we're going to be completing the first part of the Scouts Pouch series, and we're actually finishing the scatterguns. So today, obviously, the last scattergun that we have to cover is the Backscatter, so we're not going to spend too much time on the intro. Really quick before this video actually starts, if you do go on to enjoy the video, then please make sure you subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot, and it's awesome to see the support from you guys. And yeah, anyway, on to the video. So the Backscatter is a community created weapon which was released on June 18th, 2014, which was the Love and War update. Did not realize it was over 4 years ago that update happened, but okay. The Backscatter is described as a short, slightly modified lever action shotgun with a wooden handle, a single barrel, and dual small shell drums. Not gonna lie, took that straight off the wiki, so if that's wrong, it's their fault. The Backscatter comes in 3 different qualities: unique, strange, and collectors. You get the regular unique one from drops or crafts or just trading. That's the best way to get them, just trade for them. You unbox the strange one from crate 103, and collector's kits do exist for the Backscatter, so you can make a collector's one. You just have to get 200 of them and get the kit for it. But none of that's worth it. Just trade for one. It's so much easier, so much quicker, and cheaper actually to get one. So now let's move on to the stats. The Backscatter actually has a 34% lower clip size than the scattergun, basically meaning it's got 4 bullets in its clip instead of 6, which a lot of scatterguns do that, and a lot of them have even less than that, so that's not too bad. It also has a 20% greater bullet spread, which isn't great if you're trying to take mid-range fights or anything like that, but once again, we'll get onto that. And you can't actually get random crits on the Backscatter. Now, that is because of another feature which we will talk about in a minute, so hold your horses on that one. We are getting to it, and this other feature is actually pretty cool as well. At long range, you should be expected to do anywhere from 3 to 10 damage. Mid-range, you could be doing from 10 to 40, and point-blank range, you will be doing 90 to 105, which sounds like quite a lot when you look at it like that. If you actually manage to fire 4 point-blank shots, that is a lot of damage, and you can kill most classes, but that's not where this gun shines. Alright, so now let's talk a little bit about how to use this gun properly, and to do that, I'm going to have to explain to you the feature that I mentioned earlier. And that feature is the fact that the Backscatter mini-crits an enemy if you shoot them from behind. You do have to be within a certain range of an enemy to actually get a mini-crit, but the range is so big that it won't really matter anyway. So even if you're standing at the edge of the range, you're not going to kill somebody. It's not going to be a big difference if you don't get a mini-crit from that, because let's face it, you're probably doing about 3 damage, so who cares? But you will be doing massive damage if you are right behind somebody getting mini-crits. So the way to properly use this weapon, in my opinion, is not take head-on fights like you would with maybe just a regular scattergun, which you know can handle itself and you know can deal big damage. Instead, I'd look for flank routes to the maps or use your team to distract the enemy while you sneak behind them, so then you can actually help your team out from behind them by dealing some massive meat shots and either killing all the enemies or getting them low enough to the point where an enemy soldier or a friendly soldier even will be able to finish them all up with like a rocket, which will make him look quite cool, and you won't get any recognition, and the whole team will love the soldier more than you, which is kind of sad. You absolutely have to use the mini crits to your advantage. They work quite well in 1v1 fights as well, so if you're just jumping around an enemy, if you do manage to jump up behind him and get a big meat shot, that can make a massive difference in a fight. If you're losing it, jump behind him, get a meat shot, boom. The whole fight is changed straight away. It's so good if you're doing it properly. I don't recommend taking any mid-range fights with this. Even if you do 4 full damage mid-shots, you will only be doing 160 damage to that class. So that's fine if you're fighting a scout and you're hitting max hits every single time before reloading, but anything else really is not going to get a kill, and you're just going to get a lot of angry enemies looking straight at you. So obviously, you're going to want to pick the right weapons to pair with the Backscatter. Now, the 2 choices that I made for this have been, firstly, the Bonk Atomic Punch. You can use it to get behind the enemy lines, then sneak up behind them and, you know, unleash the Backscatter's mini-crits on them. Absolutely destroy them without them even knowing you're there. Or if you're not on the player's screen for about 10 seconds, they kind of forget you exist and just leave you there. So you wait 10 seconds in a good hiding spot, you sneak back out behind them, and you're like, oh, that's that scout I lost earlier. And he's killed me. Great. I feel like the Backscatter kind of depends on how you're using it, whether you want to use the Bonk Atomic Punch or not. If you're just playing with it like a normal scattergun, it's not advised, but it's not like you can't do it. So the bonk atomic punch can just be a backup if you do want to run away from somebody, or, you know, using it as an attack, an offensive thing, and getting behind enemy lines and doing it like that. Either way works. It's not a right or wrong answer, but results may vary, I think is probably the safest thing to say there. And secondly, I've actually chosen the atomizer. Now, this is more to do with like the mobility of the scout while using it, because if you are in a one-on-one fight, you can jump behind somebody, or maybe use the atomizer for an extra jump to confuse them even more, to make them look a certain way and to distract them and stuff like that. It'll work really well if the player is slightly newer, but if it's a soldier, you're kind of screwed because, you know, they can cheat with splash damage and stuff, which I rely on very heavily. But I do feel like the extra mobility that the atomizer grants actually makes quite a big difference should you want to use this gun effectively. It just helps you flank, it just helps you get around things differently, and it helps you explore the map a bit better if, you know, you're quite new to it, or there's a few routes that you have to jump a few times to, or you miss a jump, anything like that. The atomizer is there as just a backup once again, but it's not a bad backup, and it works well and better than most other things I can think of. I guess everything else kind of just works fine, but I feel like these two items are probably the best match for the backscatter and helps you get the best results should you play in that playstyle. If not, then completely forget me, use a pistol, I don't care, do what you want, it's all your choice. Pistols work fine as well, it helps you close the mid-range gap while doing quite decent damage, but you know, you're going to want to be sneaky with this gun, remember that. Alright, so it is time for my personal opinion. I feel like this is a very fun gun if you're having a good game with it. Like, if you work with your team to exploit their pushes and stuff like that, you can definitely slip past them and do insanely fun things like massive mini-crits damage. Killing a whole enemy team from behind them without them really knowing about it is really cool as well. And surprising an enemy coming out of spawn because you're not meant to be there and their team is pushed up not knowing you've gone there is really fun as well. I don't know. Once again, I feel like it's still not my favorite gun, but it's definitely not bad either. It's a very, very nice refresher to the regular scattergun or other scatterguns that I use a little bit more. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either. Like, I wouldn't prefer it over the regular scattergun by any means, and it's not my favorite gun by any means either. But like I said, it is fun to mess around with. If you have the right loadout, you're playing to what the team's doing. It's honestly really, really fun. I'd definitely recommend at least trying the gun out for a few games, seeing how you like it. If not, that's completely cool. Don't ever use it again. If you do like it, you're welcome. So anyway, that is going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. We are going to be moving on to pistols next time the Scouters Pouch episode is released, so that should be pretty cool. I'm not going to be covering reskins in their own separate video, but they will technically be put into the video with the thing that they're a reskin of. I'm only on about the Luger here, really. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I'm sure comments will correct me. But yeah, anyway, that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure you like the video to let me know you did like it, and subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss anything else like this. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you all so much for watching once again, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.